Welcome back to the channel, guys. Do you know the difference between do, does, and did? Or are they still confusing for you? This happens because we misunderstand how auxiliary verbs function differently in various contexts, such as forming negative sentences, asking questions, or adding emphasis in a statement. For example, we might struggle with subject verb agreement, saying he don't know instead of he doesn't know. By the end of this video, you will learn what their functions are in a sentence, which subject to use with do, does, and did, how they help in forming questions, how to construct negative sentences effectively, and you will never struggle to use do, does, and did again. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. First things first, what are do, does, and did? These words belong to a group called auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Sounds a bit complicated, right? Don't worry, we will break it down and make it simple for you. First, let's understand what auxiliary verbs are. Auxiliary verbs, also known as helping verbs, are verbs that support the main verb in a sentence. For example, I do like playing chess. Notice that in this sentence, like is the main verb, but do is used to add emphasis to the statement. Now let's move on to our main topic. We use do, does, and did to ask questions, form negative statements, and sometimes add emphasis to a statement. Here's the key rule. The main verb always stays in its base form when paired with do, does, or did. Now let's take a closer look at how we do this. Let's start with do. Imagine you are having a lively conversation with a group of friends. Someone asks, who is going to clean up after the party? You step up confidently and say, don't worry, I do it. Or maybe you are at a park and a group of kids is deciding who plays in the next game. One of them shouts, we do. See how natural it feels. You will use do when the subject is I, we, or they. Let's look at more examples to understand this better and gain more clarity. I do my homework. You do your homework. They do their chores. See how it's simple and direct. Now let's see how we can ask question. Can you guess how we can do that? You like pizza. Question, do you like pizza? You must have noticed how we flipped the subject and the verb to form a question. Easy, isn't it? Now let's look at how we can form negative statements. To make a sentence negative, we simply add not after do. I like broccoli. I do not like broccoli. Easy, right? Now to add emphasis in a statement is a great way to stress the truth or importance of what you are saying. Here is an example. I like coffee. I do like coffee. Emphasis showing that the speaker genuinely likes coffee, possibly in response to someone's doubting or questioning it. And to add emphasis, just insert do, does, or did before the base verb. Easy, right? Next, let's talk about does. Imagine does as a tool that steps in when the subject is he, she, or it, almost like it's made just for them. Think of these subjects as a team of singular third-person characters, and does is their personal assistant, always ready to handle job. Unlike do, which works for many subjects, does has a specific role helping out only when the subject is singular and in the third person. For example, it's like saying he does the work or she does enjoy music. Simple, isn't it? Does is dependable like that. For example, she does her chores every day. Now let's see how we can ask a question using does. Does he play football? And for the negative form, we add not, just like we did with do. He does not enjoy running. Got it? Does it just like do, but only for third person singular subjects. Last but definitely not least, let's meet did. Think of did as a time traveler of verbs, always taking us back to the past, no matter who the subject is. I, you, he, she, or it did works tirelessly to show that something has already happened. It's like did puts on its past tense cap and says, I've got this. For example, I did my homework or she did visit the park. It's simple and reliable, making the past clearer for every subject. Ready to use did in action. I did my best yesterday. Simple past tense. Right? Now for questions. Did they visit the museum? And for negative, we again use not after did. She did not go to the party. See how easy that was. Let's do a quick recap. Do, does, did. These are helping verbs. We use them to ask questions, form negatives, and to add emphasis. When we do use do, does, or did in a sentence, the main verb always appears in its base form. Do is for I, you, we, they. Does is for he, she, it. Did is for everything in the past. Now let's check out some practice sentences. Can you fill in the blanks with do, does, or did? I will give you a second. Ready? Got your answers? Let's check them. Great job, everyone. You have now mastered do, does, and did. With just a little practice, you will be using these like a pro. If you are struggling with articles in English grammar and find it hard to use them, then watch this video on the left side. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun English lessons, and drop a comment if you have any questions. I will see you in the next video.